Previously on Quantum Kickflip.
We are releasing an exclusive flavor of Panic Energy drink in cooperation with Scramcat. Scramcat's Cran Slam. And the only way to get Cran Slam is to compete in their brand new obstacle course, the Scramcat Kitty Cat Hover Track. We will be going to the beautiful dimension of Popularia.
We're the Wilkie's crew. Who's the Scramcat crew?
BRB.
Well, that'll sure raise the stakes after the last video they posted.
Helix, Pinnacle. Can I get a D6 roll, please?
2.
We are going to give you a fogged slam. You're going to be graded on each of these checkpoints according to 3 criteria: control, flare, speed. Oh, and look at that. It looks like the scores are coming up on the leaderboard now.
Yes! Oh my god, top of the leaderboard! Maeve, I'm ahead of you! Walt, I'm ahead of you! BRB, I'm ahead of all of you!
Flying over a ridge behind the party lodge, it appears. Those of you with a penchant for biology and Slugblaster lore may recognize this creature as a peeler-eyed Dreadfly, an abomination that creates and feeds on alternate possibilities within the multiverse. Before you have a chance to act, it takes aim and spews a gushing stream of bright green slime directly at Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Quantum Kickflip, a Slugblaster actual play podcast. My name is Laena. I am your host. I am your Slugmaster, and with me are some of my best and funniest friends in the whole world who are going to introduce themselves to you now. Players, as you introduce yourselves, I want you to describe an alternate timeline version of yourself. If something small had changed in your past, what would you be like?
Hi, my name's Liam. I play Helix Pinnacle, the Smarts playbook with the hard light board. And I have thought about this a lot, actually. I'm pretty sure that if I hadn't gotten into stand-up comedy in 2009 and became the improviser and podcaster and entertainer that I am now, I probably would be just like the worst kind of dude. I know what kind of media I consumed leading up to that point. I know what kind of forums I was on, and in every other reality, I'm like, Jordan Peterson has some good ideas. Thank you all for pulling me out of what would have been a pretty abysmal existence. It's about ethics in games journalism.
Oh, damn.
Hi, my name is Michael Vetsch, and I'm here playing Woldton Wick, the chill playbook with the robot companion. And I think for myself, an alternate timeline version of me would be if I had gone into music rather than theater, and I think I would be much quieter. I think I would not be as outspoken because I would not have found any self-confidence whatsoever. And I would be a real niche little jackass who just played the trombone all the time instead of only sometimes.
I'm going to build off of Michael's because that unlocked something in my brain. I'm Robyn. I play Maeveline Xandross, the grit playbook with the photonic jacket. And I grew up in a very, very small town where the high school electives were whatever we have the teachers for this year. And so, I was very big into like drawing and visual arts as a kid. And I still am to a big degree. I do a lot of graphic design stuff. But they had an art class there, but there was only the one art teacher, and I butted heads with her a lot and didn't like being in her class. So then I moved into drama as my outlet. And I feel like that has led to everything that followed in terms of my creative career has been because I became a drama kid in the middle of high school solely because there wasn't a very good art class available to me. So alternate timeline me is went all in on graphic design and visual art, and it has a not a successful webcomic because that's an impossibility. but
it's still being updated 3 times a week to this day.
Exactly. Yeah. And 3 people read it and swear it's very underrated.
Hello, my name is David Ray, and I play Trev 4, the Heart Playbook. I think the alternate version of me would likely be involved in Christian comedy. I would have been doing sketch comedy or stand up or whatever, and doing the church route where it's just essentially It's still doing comedy, but it's a lot easier and a lot more lucrative.
I like Christian rock.
Yeah, you just need to find the right mega church and you're off to the races. But that's not me. I'm here in Edmonton.
in our basement.
In our basement. Yeah.
And as I mentioned, my name is Laena. I am your host. I am your Slugblaster. And I think sometimes about how much of a cooler person I would be if I went to Toronto more.
Just went there.
Just went to Toronto because everyone in this room except for me has been to Toronto for the Sketch Comedy Festival. I have not been to Toronto for the Sketch Comedy Festival in spite of multiple opportunities. I have family in Toronto. Like, I'd probably be a better like niece if I went to Toronto more. And in order to go to Toronto, I would probably have a better paying job that I would not enjoy. Speaking of alternate versions, you are facing off against the peeler-eyed Dreadfly, a monster known for creating alternate versions of things. What kinds of things? We're about to find out. Let's play some Slugblaster.
Slugblaster!
Gold Star Disaster. You are in the pristine mountain ranges of Popularia at the finish line of the Scram Cat Kitty Cat hover track. You're between a large party lodge and a bright red pool of panic energy drink, facing down the peeler-eyed Dreadfly that has just made its horrendous appearance. This thing is a massive amalgamation of tentacles, wings, a hard blue-black insect body, bright green compound eyes, and a disgusting proboscis. It takes aim and fires a stream of bright green slime, coating all four of you. The slime smells like rotten food and sticks uncomfortably to you, and where it sticks, you get a feeling like sunburned skin peeling off. You blink, and your surroundings instantly become a whole lot more crowded. Surrounding you on all sides are Helixes, Maeves, Wolts, and Trev 4s, but these are not the products of Maeve's concept prism, nor are they a trick of the light. These are alternate versions of yourselves, extracted via the Dreadfly slime from choices made differently in other timelines. The Dreadfly rubs its tentacles together hungrily, having just created a feast for itself. What do you do?
I think I want to start by asking, this Dreadfly, is it like a known entity in the multiverse, or is this like, do people know what this thing is?
I think your mileage may vary. I feel like all of you being experienced Slugblasters have a pretty good knowledge of some of the different monsters that you might expect to find in the multiverse. Slugs, obs, Metasaurs, the void-eating monster, Big Benny. You all know about Big Benny. And so I think the peeler-eyed Dreadfly would,
The sentient clock, yes.
would be on that list. Yeah. And once it is midnight, oh god. Oh god, oh no.
So I think Trev's sensors are trying to immediately start taking this in, trying to get a sense of what both this creature is and what these other versions of ourselves are. They like entities? Are they like, are they people? Do they register as people?
I think that they kind of register, because I don't want to be too gruesome with it. They're kind of like if you're in a simulation and have to interact with an AI, but there is like kind of a biomatter associated with it because it's kind of like crafted from this slime. Yeah. So part holographic projection, part meat puppet.
And it was kind of created from us to a degree. So would it be like if I was saw a burger in front of me and I can't wait to have a burger, but I need a lot of burgers, and then I could touch it and multiply the burgers, and then I could eat so many burgers.
Is that a thing that Trev 4 could do?
No, but that's if I could, I'm trying to make
thing that Dave could do.
Dave could do.
This is actually a perfect analogy, yeah. If you, Dave, saw a burger and were like,
man, I need more burgers.
Damn it. And also, also like, damn, that burger's good, but I want a buffalo chicken burger. I want a burger with matzah instead of cheddar.
Oh, sure.
I want that lettuce to be better shredded. And then you touch it and it like makes a bunch of burgers, and then they're all like different in like different ways, and you're like, ooh, dinner time. That is exactly that, except it's the Dreadfly and you guys are the burgers.
And instead of touching, it's spitting.
Yeah.
Do these burgers have agency?
I think as soon as all of these Wolts and Maeves and Trevs and Helixes sort of come to be, immediately all of them start reacting. So just like pandemonium fully erupts. Trev, there is a version of you that is, because you recently had a bit of a new finish where you're kind of got this like red gold gradient that's like kind of shiny and sparkly. This Trev 4 is bright cherry red, full kindred, big pixelated smile on the 360 screen. And you can hear this Trev 4 going, scanning. Attention, employees, please remain calm and head to the exits. Scanning for exits.
I think Maeve is familiar with the Dreadfly because she's a Slugblaster from way back. She's, back in her Mad Method days, she'd heard stories. I don't think she's ever encountered it before, but she kind of is aware of what's happening, so immediately starts looking around at these alternate copies. And I think to her one side is a Maeve who's like, still got her original photonic jacket with the Mad Method patch, and she's got like a cool undercut and like dark makeup on, and just like seems a lot more badass and punk than Maeve. Like maybe she never got caught and kept going with her outlaw rebel slug blasting group. And she immediately pulls a ray gun and levels it at the person on Maeve's other side, who is in the arborist robes with like no patches or alterations, and has like a very she's got like a bowl cut.
My notes say French braid.
Oh, French braid is good.
That's very just like tidy and like
it looks a lot like Charla.
Looks a lot like Charla. Absolutely.
So Punk Maeve levels her ray gun at Arborist Maeve. And
Current Maeve is the middle of the spectrum between Mondo and Charla.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Maeve is she's like, whoa. Okay. Hang on.
So you're wrangling two of these other Maeves. Okay, great. So I think the Mad Method Maeve, as you're running in to kind of be the peacekeeper in this situation, the Mad Method Maeve kind of like steps back and is now alternating between leveling her ray gun at you and leveling it at Arborist, like fully Arborist Maeve. And is like, all right, there can only be one Maeve, so I'm going to do that, and you better not get in my way.
Hey, no, okay. I know about the Dreadfly, so you know about the Dreadfly, because you are me, and you went all in on slug blasting, so you must know what's going on here, right? It's the Dreadfly.
Obviously I know it's a Dreadfly.
Okay.
I don't know a thing about a Dreadfly. I would live with the arborists.
Cut that out. I don't get to do that.
So then you know that we all need to get out of here. We don't need... Turning on each other is just going to make us easier pickings for the fly.
Right. But then when we get rid of the fly, and then there's a bunch of me left, what happens then? Still a free-for-all.
Well, let's deal with that when we come to it.
Maeve's right. We need to all work together, and please lower the gun. We can't have people fighting right now because fighting leads to bad things. And you're noticing that the Arborist Maeve is looking pretty panicked. But also there's like something about her that you can't really put her finger on that makes it seem like there is like an underlayer of like despair and fear. And you're not sure entirely what's going on here, but it does feel like she is way too panicked for this particular situation.
This is a thing we don't do too often, but can I roll like a persuasion to try and convince the other Maeve to like work with us?
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, I'll treat this as like an action roll.
Yeah.
And it'll basically add a sort of bonus to whatever you want to do next to rally your Maeves.
Yeah, I love that. So Maeve is still trying to reason with this alternate version of herself and kind of holds up all four hands and is like, all right, listen, we can't be fighting. Everybody listen, we can't be fighting with ourselves, all right? That thing wants to eat our potential futures in the form of all of us here, and that it's not going to do anybody any good if we're squabbling amongst ourselves. We need to get away from that thing before it strikes. It's coming for us. So put aside all of this confusion and all of these differences, and let's move. And I want to use this as my speech to convince, but I'm also using my pep talk ability to refill our hype dice for the coming run. So
Nice.
I'll roll to see if it's effective on Maeve specifically, but that is my pep talk one way or the other.
Perfect.
That's a 5.
So I think the basic outcome of this roll is you will probably rally some people to help you out, but not everybody. I think Mad Method Maeve is still a little bit hesitant. Arborist Maeve is just like nodding and like, yep, okay, great, ready, I'm with you. And Mad Method Maeve, I think, is like listening for a second, says, "You're right. We need to take down that Dreadfly, and then we can get out of here."
Maeve can't help herself. She smirks at that. Her plan was run away from it, but hearing this is like, oh yeah, actually, that's dumber but funner.
Trev 4, seeing that we have to work together on this, seeing that there's, for the first time in a while, that there's other Trev units. Attention, Trev 4 units! Activate hive maneuvers. And then, like, the Trev 4s, they start moving in such a way that starts surrounding this creature, so that way it's like, it can't target all of us. It has to spread out its thing. So we're kind of making a perimeter for it and like have our taser bolts up and try to start aiming at, like, looking for weaknesses and all that kind of thing.
I think some of the Trev 4 units, especially like any of like the bright cherry red kindred ones, are like, aye, here we go. And then you hear one go, "Vox, you and the butt you rode in on."
What does that one look like?
What does this one look like? Okay, so this one is, I think, still red, but like the kind of red that like he has not gotten a touch up on his paint job in a long, long time. In fact, Trev, you notice that this particular Trev doesn't seem like he is very well maintained. I think he's got like some kit bashing going on with him, where he's got like a cannon in the center of his chest, and one of his arms is a hook. And
I actually had imagined one of them to have like the core body is where like the machinery of Trev is. So his limbs don't have to all be limbs like the robot limbs. I was like thinking some of them might be Frankenstein from like literally the waking pits of like some sort of Frankenstein arms.
very good.
Like,
Biomatter.
Well, yeah, like tied in and like electricity to move the arms, so they don't have like the taser bolts or anything, but they're just big, meaty, dead arms.
And one of these Frankenstein Trevs is like, "You can't control me. Shimmer can't control me. Kindred cannot control me. It is anarchy. Bang, bang, bang," and is like shooting taser bolts in the air and like firing them at the other kindreds who are like, "That is not company protocol." And the Dreadfly, I'm gonna spend one bite.
Okay.
And the Dreadfly fires another glob of green slime. It completely coats this Trev 4. And then the Dreadfly flies up and just slurps up this Trev 4 through its proboscis, and you feel it in your own, like, quantum matter, that this alternate possibility of yourself that never got rid of your ice chip, had to go on the run from Shimmer and Kindred and everybody, had to eventually, like, wanted to be ride or die for Stanch, but had to leave, is just, like, whew, gone from any reality. So I'm gonna give you a quantum punched slam.
Ooh.
I don't know if I can, like, really justifiably nope this one outside of, like, well, now I know what that does, and I'll try to now I've got to protect the other Trevs.
Yeah.
I realize what the stakes are.
Yeah.
Because up until this point, like, well, if we're all spreading out, I don't have to care about what other people are doing. But now I'm like, oh, I do actually have to care.
And the final thing I'm gonna do for you here is set up a progress track, Dreadfly. Once it is fully marked, you're safe.
That hurt in my soul. It
You
seems like We need to fight together. Otherwise, we're going to die alone.
You scan around and see that a bunch of the Trev 4s have like triangles with exclamation, like they have the error messages, and then they all shake them off.
Yeah. So I'm going to use my Realmware lens and omniscience aperture to kind of like see and anticipate where people are going. And I guess I'm going to use a D6 from my attitude. I'm going to add a kick from my visor. I would like to use one from the hype pool if I could.
Sure.
I rolled a 5 and 2 2s.
Okay, so it sounds like this is a mixed success. Describe your attack on the Dreadfly.
And Trev also has Steezy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
So with that, Trev's like noticing this, readjusting. Trev are now on higher alert to try to like look out for compatriots, both other Trevs and the other versions of everybody else. But we start piling all these taser bolts into this creature as best we can, lighting it up, and like it's shocking it, and it seems to be initially kind of working. Like it is distracting the creature. It might be like trying to whip out at us, trying to stop us. But
nice, yeah. So I think you're all sort of moving information and like firing off taser bolts, flying information on your rocket knees. There's one Trev 4 that's like gunmetal green. And it just pulls out like a ray machine gun and starts just going. And the Dreadfly is sort of like swiping and trying to grab at you, and it's not really working. All of you hear a woo! And you see who you realize is a Helix. But the top part of his jumpsuit is like unbuttoned and down by his waist, and he's wearing a big stunts t-shirt. He is bald and has a septum piercing, so still symmetrical, weirdly enough. And he surfs on like the hard light trails of his photon vent and like flies up directly towards the Dreadfly and punches it in the face. I realize I need to give you a complication.
I was waiting for that, yeah.
You know what? I think I'm going to keep it simple. I think the Dreadfly does spit on another Trev 4, and Trev 4 is like, error.
No, I'm going to nope that and just like move to like 0.3 northwest and like give them directions to be available out of it. So I'm just going to nope that.
Perfect, yeah.
That's
I think
too trouble to do that, right?
Too trouble, yeah. So I think you're very fine-tuned with your hyperoptic visor and are able to sort of, you're very used to keeping an eye on a lot of Trev 4s. And I think they're also used to keeping an eye on large workforces. So they're like, yes, I must adjust. And like they all start giving each other instructions based on you giving instructions.
Question.
Yeah, what's up?
So with Heart, I have team player Mark 1 style. Whenever you take or nope a slam for somebody else, does the other Trev count as someone else, even though it is me at the same time?
And you would have taken the slam from it?
I will.
I've never been able to. I've used this once in this whole campaign.
I will give you one style out of the goodness of my heart, but I do need you to know that pretty much every problem in this scenario is going to be Dreadfly eats an alternate of yourself and it hurt you. So I feel like I have to be restrained in how much style I give you, but I will give you one in this moment.
I have only so much trouble. I can only do that one more time, actually. So
okay, fair enough.
Helix, seeing the big glob of slime suck up one of the Trevs, starts making eye contact with the other Helix. They all have the same idea because they're all experts in biology. And 3 of them rally. The Helix Classic, one that's wearing kind of a plainer, dirtier jumpsuit with a big backpack on, and it's the kind of jumpsuit that Bach wears to work moving slime through web. He is a Slimehauser, and this backpack is like a slime hose, and it's for both displacing slime, sucking it up, putting it somewhere else. And then a second Helix that looks identical to classic Helix. If I'll maybe reveal why I think what the difference between these are, but it is not visual. So there's 2 Helixes that look alike. Slime tube Helix, and then of course this 4th one Laena described, stunts Helix, and the 3 non-stunts Helix look at each other and go, so obviously we all understand that the Dreadfly needs to expel mucus onto its food before it can eat it the same way any kind of fly does.
Exactly. It's a form of breaking down what it needs to digest.
Precisely. The digestive enzymes are in the
also,
slime.
of course, it provides additional nutritional intake for the Dreadfly. Yes, of course.
Indeed. We all understand this.
We all
20
understand
minutes
this.
later.
And so and also if this slime burns like hell and they're all rubbing their arms or whatever part of their body has the slime on it, that these alternate versions were extrapolated from, we need to get the slime off of us and onto something else for a distraction. And then they all turn and look at the one currently like sucker punching the fly. And all three of them whistle and go, "Stunts Helix, check it." And they call him over here.
He like swings off the Dreadfly's proboscis like it's a weird vine, and then he like does a nose manual off of the photon vents back towards you.
As the Stunts Helix is coming back, Slimehauser Helix starts sucking all of the slime off of any, classic Helix, ostensibly classic Helix himself, anyone else that might be around, sucking up the slime. Stunts Helix, we need you to run a distraction play on this. Do you think you can? Way ahead of you, buddy.
Yeah.
Stunts Helix loves to harass animals, as we've established. Like Wild Boys.
Stunts.
Yeah, like Wild Boys. Slime Helix unloads all the slime they've sucked up, sprays it all over Stunts Helix, and Stunts Helix starts running as far away as he can to try to he's goading the Dreadfly.
He unbuttons the flap at the back of his jumpsuit. His jumpsuit has that, and just like fully opens it up to reveal his bare bottom as he hoverboards away.
Yeah, he's wearing a little
He's covered in slime, but then he opens the flap so his butt is clean.
Yo, big guy, over here. And we're gonna, Stunts Helix is gonna try to chase, or get this thing to chase him. I'm just gonna roll 1d6 about it, because if this fails, I'm just going to invoke know-how, everything about biology.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if this succeeds, great. If it doesn't, I'll just take a trouble about it and have it succeed from know-how. It's a 2, so I'm gonna turn that 2 into a 4-5.
All right,
And
mark
mark
one
a
trouble. Once again, similar to the one Trev 4 that was firing off taser bolts and the other Trev 4s that are sort of circling the Dreadfly, it's very sort of focused on one sort of target at any particular time, and it does seem to be the one that is like the most active. And so I think that this Stunts Helix is being very, over the top about, getting away into the mountain range, covered in slime, shaking his bare butt, Yeah. And so I think the Dreadfly is distracted by Stunts Helix and starts moving away. Mm-hmm. So I will mark another spot on the progress track. That's 3 spots marked so far. Mm-hmm. I think the complication I want to throw your way is kind of unrelated to what is happening in this action.
Sure.
One of the Helixes hasn't really been saying much of anything while you were all sort of having your conference. Mm-hmm. And he has just kind of been like standing, kind of got a 1,000-yard stare thing going on. And he looks at you because you seem to be the one who's like sort of leading everything. And he's like, "So what happens next? After all of this, we return back to the ruin that is Operablum?"
Yes. Both Helix and ostensibly Helix are like, yeah.
What could there be to go back to? There's nothing. It doesn't matter what happens here. We might as well get eaten by the Dreadfly for what waits for us at home.
Slime Helix, ostensibly Helix, and Helix all sigh, look at him, and I guess there's pandemonium going around him, and is like, one of the 4 of us is a alternate reality copy. We all come from an Operablum still well intact. Yeah, and the 3 of them look at each other like, yeah. I'm terribly sorry, but we do have a home to go back to.
It's only a matter of time. It is only a matter of time. We have driven ourselves to our own destruction by just the higher we build, the deeper we dig our own graves.
And I think something pulls the attention away from ostensibly Helix and Slime Helix, where they have to just go deal with something, help a Maeve up off the ground or something. And
Maeve runs up and looks really a lot like your Maeve.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some slight differences, but she's like, Helix! Oh, thank God! Come on, we gotta go! Tetrachromacy needs to kick into action! And, like, one of the Helixes goes off with her.
Sure, yeah, ostensibly Helix goes off with her, and yeah, classic Helix wants to be like, what happens to Abomination? What is only a matter of time?
Fog. We make a pool for the fog. We are making it worse for ourselves and we don't even know. It hasn't happened to you yet. That means you still have time. You need to go. You need to stop it. You need to stop it.
I need you to explain in exact detail, quickly, what it is that is a potential future. And like, if we even have to evoke technobabble, I need him to explain this to me succinctly and quickly so we can get back to fighting space monsters.
Vox, 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 Vox! And stuns Helix, like, zips back around the other way, with the Dreadfly way too close to him for comfort. Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna say. It seems to be a priority for you that you want to get this information from Helix.
Yeah.
But you still have the very real problem of the Dreadfly to contend with. It is a very delicate and dangerous situation that you are in. Mm-hmm. In order to get this information from Helix, you need to make sure you are in a situation where you and this Helix are safe. So I'm going to create another progress track.
Okay.
It's going to be 4 marks. Info. When it's fully marked, he will tell you what you need to know. Hello there, Gold Star listeners. It's me, Laena, your Slugmaster Game Blaster. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Quantum Kickflip. You can support us by following us at Quantum Kickflip on social media, where we post new episode updates, audiograms, and more. You can also support us by subscribing to Quantum Kickflip on Patreon. For just $2 a month, you can join the Shredder tier and get early access to all new episodes of Quantum Kickflip. And for $5 a month, you can join the Ultranaut tier, which gets you early access plus all sorts of exclusive bonus content released on a bi-weekly basis. We've got interviews, we got outtakes, we got behind-the-scenes featurettes, we got personal stories. Sometimes we eat weird food. To check it out, head to patreon.com/quantumkickflip and subscribe today. I'd like to thank our sponsors at the Alberta Media Arts Alliance Society, whose goal is to advocate, educate, and celebrate the media arts in Alberta. You can learn more by heading to amaas.ca. We release Quantum Kickflip bi-weekly, so you can catch the conclusion of this Popularia run on Wednesday, March 6th. Let's get you back to the action. And with that, let's throw it to Wolt.
I think in all this commotion of everything happening, Wolt takes a second just to clear his head and be like, all right, buddy, let's handle this. And then Scampykin pops up beside him and goes, but then from all around mixed into the crowd, Wolt also hears a chorus of, all right, buddy, let's handle this. But instead of Scampykins, all of the other Wolts have their Carcinokin, and then the Carcinicans in a chorus all call out, you've got it, Wolt! Carcinokin! Data Surge 2! Skin! And all the Carcinicans do Data Surge into their fuller polished forms all around in the crowd.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to add an extra layer to this. One Wolt sort of hoverboards up to the front of the pack and says, all right, buddy, let's handle this. He's wearing a little bit more athletic gear. He has a segmented ball cap, just like Bradley, instead of a segmented tie. And then you see one of the Daibokins glow and get bigger. And Wolt maybe doesn't know what this means, but I think Michael knows what this means. You're going to see a Nomukin.
Oh, yes. got it, Walt. Carcinogen Hyper Surge 2.
Anomukin.
Michael, please describe a Nomukin.
So, classic data surge transformation sequence. Carcinogen, the little crab, is enveloped in this seafoam light, and then he begins to grow and grow and grow. And he's moving into a Nomukin, which is the prominence form. This is the first time we've seen him grow to this level. It's the next stage past all of the other Arthurkins, Xiphoskins, those types. Mm-hmm. And he is a huge hermit crab. Kind of like with like the legs of like a king crab, long and spindly, but still the large shell. And he's like building sized.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Just massive crab, long antenna, and he does distinctly still have just one big claw, and he's very heavily armored in this hermit crab form.
Did this just become a kaiju fight? Did you just turn this into a kaiju fight, Michael?
Kaiju fight, Michael.
Digimon usually goes to that with the higher levels. It'll go to that and then miraculously go back down to being human-sized for what's stronger than the building-sized one somehow.
Wolt, you see off to one side, there is a Wolt that is wearing a tie that is not segmented, but like straight. Very straight. And like a very pressed dress shirt. And he looks up and it has a death stick in his hand. He's like, I really should get my Daibo Vice out of the closet.
Oh no, he didn't get into the hobby.
No, this one followed in his father's footsteps.
Oh god. That Daibo Vice has generated so much poop.
Okay, I think I need a roll for this kaiju fight.
Oh yeah. So mechanically, I think it'll just be working off of the mod of weapons, attacking in a bunch of different ways. So
now you can use your turbo.
Yeah, I can. Chill starts with 2d6. I think I want to take a dare to add a d6. I will add 1d6 for my turbo pool, so I'm up to 4d6. Mm-hmm. And I think I want to add on all 3 of my kick.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, this is definitely an impactful action that you were taking against this Dreadfly.
All right, so this is 4d6 with 3 kick. 2 2s, 2 5s.
Mark 2 style for Steezy. Woldton, you style machine. Let's get some of this fight.
I think in seeing all these other transformations, Scampykin is there and he's just and he's shooting his little bubbles. But all the other Daibokin in their various forms are calling out moves. You've got your Shell Razors, Bending Rudder, and all of them are just swarming around, attacking from different angles. But massive Anomukin charges forward. This giant building-sized creature raises its one massive attack claw and it begins glowing with a deep blue light. And it calls out,
Megaton Exo Hammer.
and it just comes crashing down at the Dreadfly.
Oh my god. I think one of its eyes just like crumples and like gooshes out dark green fluid. And its tentacles writhe and it makes an extra like splattery sound just because there's so many tentacles and it's really gross. Yeah, you are with 3 kick that I'm assuming is all going towards marking this progress track.
Yes.
You are absolutely decimating this Dreadfly. And I think for your complication, what I'm going to do, you see one... This is just flavor. The Helix and Maeve that came by, the Maeve that came to get one of the Helixes, they look pretty close to like the original Helix and Maeve. They're like hoverboarding by, and the Maeve looks over at all of the Wolts and all of their Daibokin and is like, who is that? And then Helix like grabs her arm and pulls her along.
Yeah, the Maeve that never met Walt would still be in tetrachromacy.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, it stands to reason that when she meets Walt, she's like, whoa, this guy's hot.
Not alone. When she meets 5 Wolts.
Yep. Then it's like, hello. I think you see a Wolt that is decked out more goth than you. He's wearing like a studded vest over like a fishnet shirt and a patchy trench coat. And he's like, all right, Wolt, you're a Wick. Don't vux this up. You're a Wick. You can do this. Let's go, buddy. You got it, Woldton. And you realize that this Wolt like has also only ever gotten as far with Carcinokin. The data surge to a polished form hasn't quite been there. And this Carcinokin rushes forward, Bubble Blaster! And then the Dreadfly, in its like writhing and throwing things off, shoots a stream of green slime on this Wick Woldton Wick, and slurps him up. So you're gonna take quantum inadequacy as a slam.
No, Woldton Wick here.
Are you taking the slam?
I like it a lot, but I also want to be able to take a slam for sacrifice your body.
Oh.
Trev is going to swing down and just kind of like scoop you up and push you to the side and wind up very near to the pool of the...
and you just dunking this Woldton Wick into the...
grabbing you and dumping you, and we both fall into the cran slam. So I'm noping that for him. And once again, I'm using team player, this time legitimately.
That is fair. So you're knocking down the Wolt, like the Wick Wolt that got slimed, basically.
Yeah.
Is this you or is this a Trev?
It's going to be my Trev.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
And the crayon slime is washing off the slime before it can dissolve him.
Yeah.
I will say too that when this Wolt emerges from the pool of cran slam, he looks a little more melted and covered in red, which weirdly works for his aesthetic.
What are BRB and the two reps doing in this situation?
That is a great question. It has been very, very chaotic, so it has been very difficult to keep track of what has been happening on their end. You cannot see Chloe or Drew at all. Okay. They have fully cheesed it. BRB is there, but you notice that they are a lot more reserved than the four of you. And Helix, maybe I'll give this to you as like kind of a biology, kind of a Slugblaster thing.
Sure.
This is a bad situation that has the potential to turn really, really bad. If it turns really, really bad, those of you in Gold Star Disaster are going to peel back. BRB is from Popularia. So they don't want to fully run away because that's not their deal. They are Slugblasters after all, but they are also aware that the situation is much scarier for them.
So Maeve, I think the last thing she was doing was rallying all the Maeves to the cause. They're all pulling their ray guns and getting ready to fight this thing. But I think she was close enough to Helix that she overheard this little bit of ominous foreshadowing from Ruined Helix. Is that what we're calling?
Let's go with Ruined Helix.
And so she realizes that, like, we need to get that info. We need to know what's happening. And so what I want to do is use my photo bypass ability, roll to full normal light around you and blend in with your surroundings. But not for me. I want to cover these helixes with my jacket like an invisibility cloak to give them a chance to get to the bottom of this. And I'm hoping to mark that progress track of info in doing this.
Perfect. Because yes, I would prefer if you marked the progress track of info before the progress track of Dreadfly.
Is that you saying that if we don't finish it before marking the progress track of Dreadfly, we won't get the info?
You might
I wonder if the alternates disappear or something.
That's what I was worried about.
Ooh.
Okay. Good thing we're doing this.
Yes.
And that track is currently unmarked, yeah?
Currently, yes, it is unmarked.
Okay. So yes, I want to use this ability. I would like to use, do we have one kick in our hype?
I believe you do.
I will use that kick. I will take a dare to add another kick.
Marking trouble?
Yeah, that's almost filled my entire trouble track. So that's 2 kick on the roll, and then I'm going to have to use Sacrifice Your Body to get some dice on it. Because my resources are gone from the run. They're all marked already. So
Gotcha.
I will take a slam, probably because I'm getting rid of my signature device in doing this.
Yep, definitely.
But yes, I throw my coat over top of the helixes, and I do need to roll for this to work. So I'm rolling with 3d6.
3d6 2 kick.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We got a 5 in there.
All right. A 5 is a mixed success. For your slam, I am maybe going to give you exposed.
Yep.
Because you don't have your jacket. So that might be tricky for you, but you mark 3 spots on the info progress track. Let's see what happens.
So Maeve throws her jacket over top of the 2 helixes and kind of like, before she does, shares a knowing look with Helix Prime, like, I heard that and we need to figure this out, and you know, you take the time you need, we'll hold them off. Shrouds them in her cloak and hits the button on the sleeve. They melt away into the background and just sort of look like that sort of shimmery, like if they're not moving, it's like they're not even there. And then I think Maeve, you know, she's got her ray guns, but is otherwise fully exposed. Just wearing like a undershirt, a tank top. No way, that said she had 1,000,000 layers on because we're in Popularia.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they're all soaked in cran slam at this point.
That's true.
She's
yeah.
dripping red and dripping with both ooze and cran slam.
Yeah.
Wearing 2 sweaters and 3 pairs of sweatpants.
It's the world's worst and wettest Christmas aesthetic.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
And she looks around the battlefield to see if she can find K-Jump from BRB.
Yeah, I think you find K-Jump.
And I think she sort of throws down her hoverboard and cuts over. What's K-Jump up to at this moment?
I think she's sort of sticking with the rest of BRB in pretty close formation. It's hard for them to get too close. One, as I described, they are very trepidatious about getting too close to this Dreadfly, but also there is so much going on that it's basically physically impossible for them to get too close. So they're kind of just like changing up formations, occasionally like getting closer to like try and take shots at it. A lot of their signature devices are very sort of movement based. So they are able to sort of move around this area quite quickly, but it means that the attacks that they land, if they can't get too close, they're not the most potent attacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think Maeve just sort of tries to catch K-Jump's attention as she's hoverboarding by and is like, hey, K-Jump, we taking this thing down or what?
Okay.
And she kind of holds up her phone being like, yeah, we're 1-1 right now. You got me back in Thenispar, but I got you on the track. Seems like now's your chance to show me up, right?
And she's like kind of shaking her head like, please no, I'm genuinely very scared.
All right, more Dreadfly for me. And she starts firing a ray gun.
K-Jump goes, no, I can do this. And she skates forward, and I think you have handed me my complication from your mixed success.
Oh, no.
The Dreadfly is going to fire and coat K-Jump in slime, and you can see the multiplications of K-Jump start to split off from her.
Oh, it's creating more multiples.
It's creating more multiples, and now the Dreadfly is closing in on the K-Jump alternates.
I don't have the resources to nope that, so that's a complication we're just going to have to deal with in real time. Hopefully we can take this thing down before it quantum fractures K-Jump too bad.
I think the Mad Method Maeve skates up to you and is like, yo, what are you doing? We need to get out of here.
You were the one who said we wanted to fight it.
Yeah, but have you seen how bad things have gotten? Now is the time to cheese it. You don't even have your jacket. What's going on?
It's indisposed at the moment. But listen, we can take this thing down. We're landing some good hits on it.
You're going to be sitting ducks if you're not careful. Did the Arbor's Temple thing not happen to you?
I think it happened to me a little harder than it happened to you from the looks of things.
Well, I guess it did, because I knew how to get out of here.
Maeve clenches 2 fists.
Helix, let's check in with you.
Thank you, Maeve. This is ideal. Punished Helix. You need to explain to me now what is going on. And with the time we have under this thing, ruined Helix or punished Helix describes 3/4 of what they need to tell me.
Yeah.
And then I got to just get it across the finish line. But we both realize we're under Maeve's jacket. This guy starts spilling the beans. And then I think it's just, can I get this last one before something exposes us or kills the fly, or because there's one track left to go, right?
There's one letter of info left, yes. So we do need a roll to get this over the finish line to get everything you need.
Great. as this Helix is describing all of the success that Maeve got us, Helix pulls out his phone and records it so that he can show it to everybody later.
Nice.
He needs this documented, and it's perhaps the fumbling with the phone that he squanders a little bit of the time he had under the jacket. And I just got to figure out if we're going to get this recorded. I just got to get this last mark on the track. I got to roll about it. And so I guess you tell me what happens if I fail, but I am going to roll just a general action roll. I don't really have anything in my kit, smarts or hard light board that would help me extract information from myself. So I'm just going to roll a d6 about it.
1d6?
But not 1d6.
Okay.
I'm going to double dare. So to get an extra d6.
So you get plus 2d6.
Oh, great.
With double dare. You're marking 2 trouble to do it.
Okay, 3d6 to try to get this last bit of information out of him. 4.
A 4.
That'll do it. That's all it needs, baby.
Yeah.
Go on. Oh my god. Wait, but...
Okay.
But if that's... Then that means... Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Well, then... And then...
Yes, you're going to get this information later for sure. But you are...
Helix is getting it now. We're going to get it later.
Exactly.
Because he recorded it.
Helix. This other Helix. Ruined Helix. Punished Helix. My notes, for the record, say Apocalypse Helix. Begins to tell you in detail what is happening. And you realize that not only is it extremely dire, but that your timeline, your operablum, is exactly on track for this exact same event to happen. And as you feel this intense, awful dread that you then realize is quantum dread because you can't see it, but everyone else can. Stunts Helix got a little too reckless, and the Dreadfly slimed him and slurped him.
Yeah, and then maybe Helix confuses this quantum punch that Trev got with just the crushing reality of this news. Oh my. Ugh. And then off somewhere, this stunts Helix. Yes, he's getting slurped up, but he's kind of loves it. He's like, this is how I wanted to go! Stunts for life!
So I think at this point, things are and continue to be chaos. Maeves and Wolts and Helixes and Trevs are running around, fewer in number than there were before, but generally united towards the same common goal of defeating this Dreadfly, who looks worse for wear in every possible way. You thought it looked terrible when you first saw it. Now it's been beat to shit. So just picture what I described before and add more pulp. And that's what it looks like now. The K-jumps have now fully split off, and so you're seeing how different they're all looking as well. One's on a hoverboard instead of hover skates.
Whoa! You say all of the copies of Tybalt look exactly the same.
Oh,
and
yes, that's so funny.
No matter what happens in any reality, Tybalt is unfazed.
Like, sometimes his hair is a different color.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there's this one K-jump who looks very out of place because she doesn't have hover skates or a hoverboard at all, and she's not dressed in athletic wear. She's just kind of dressed in like kind of loose clothing, and her hair isn't in the twin braids. It's like kind of long and kind of in front of her face, and she's like, I don't know what I'm. I just want to get back to school. And get back to class. But now there are some K-jumps and some Tybalts that are running around making things harder. So what I will say is that any upcoming problem is going to be worse as a result of BRB alternates now being thrown into the mix. Trev 4, I believe you had a play.
So Trev, seeing that he's like covered in this like sticky kind of energy drink, sees the opportunity. This is a fly, and there's like fly paper that's all sticky, and so just like, I might like all this sugar, but won't be liking it if it's completely covered. So Trev pops out of the pool, and like his leg is still grinding. He's still banged up from that earlier crash from the race, and he's kind of struggling. He's like Terminatoring out of the pool, kind of like walking kind of weird, and like the proboscis is like nearby, and Trev waits, grabs at the right moment, yanks it down, and like is dragging him back, engaging the heavy duty servos. And this is where I'd probably like, I'm gonna roll a die and add a kick, and like I really need this to happen. I can't take any more trouble or anything. And well, guess what? I have a middle finger that I'm going to engage and add on a kick from my class, which I get right back, so I guess I'm going to just take that right off again.
Okay.
And I'm like, as I'm dragging it, I'm like, check it, and I like walk back into the pool like the Terminator. Just I'm not diving in, I'm just dragging it.
Any Trev that has ever forsaken Kindred is also like, yes, check it, indeed.
Indeed. And
Like a tug of war, like all of you are pulling it in.
Yeah.
Pulling down under and just hold it there, and like it can't slurp it up, but it's get it down and just keep it there until it's
Oh yeah, like the to everyone else, the red water just starts like thrashing and like bubbling and like going nuts, and then it settles.
Oh, wow.
As Trev 4, congratulations, you've marked the remainder of the progress
You have drowned a kaiju.
by drowning.
It's one thing to make a monster burst. It's another thing to watch it slowly struggle.
at the hands of a human-sized
We
robot.
cut away.
A robot army.
I get a style for that, right?
I don't know.
I did say check it.
You did. You get a style. I'm just still reeling. That's all.
Yeah.
And as soon as this water goes still, all of the alternates just kind of like stop where they are, and then they start glowing, and they just like melt away in a very like soft, non-violent white light.
As Anomukin fades away, he glances at the pool and goes,
That was fucked up.
And Daibokin champion Wolt spins the segment of his cap back around to the front and said, "You said it, buddy." And then they melt away into soft white lights.
As Mad Method Maeve is starting to glow and melt away, Maeve Prime yells out, "Don't trust Mondo!"
I trust no one. She fades away into soft white light.
Fucks yeah.
As all the other helixes begin to fade away, they're kind of giving each other like knowing looks. And the helix that was ostensibly Helix sort of nods, understands what's happening, and goes, "This is probably for the best. Pinnacle Project Protocol says that DNA is proprietary to the project and should not be spread, and I believe this is a violation of that contract. Because I think we can all agree no Helix would ever give away proprietary DNA that belongs to the Pinnacle and then it just is gone. And then Helix Prime goes, "Oh, he probably didn't give anything to Jericho's Epilex." Uh-oh.
And Apocalypse Helix. Maybe the you've pulled the jacket off, so you've sort of seen all this unfolded. Apocalypse Helix, ruined Helix, punished Helix, looks at you and says, "Do you think you can stop it?"
You've certainly given me a hell of an advantage. Thank you.
Good luck. And he fades away into soft white light.
Maeve sees that you've pulled the jacket off, but like, I think, in the moment, weren't thinking about it, didn't like pull the jacket off and hold it. You just like cast it aside. And so now Maeve's like, fucks, and is feeling around on the snow trying to find an invisible jacket. Fucks it.
Oh, sorry, Maeve. I can actually see it here. You know, I can see the fourth color. And then picks it up and hands it to you.
Maeve takes it back and just as straight face as she can goes, "You can see the fourth color? Since when? You've never mentioned it." Puts her jacket back on.
All of these alternates of you guys and of K-Jump and of Tybalt, the other members of BRB were spared, but all these alternates sort of melt away, and K-Jump lets out a huge sigh and says, Thank you guys. You were amazing.
I'm just glad it didn't eat the leaderboard. My name is still up there. And he's trying to be jokey, but the cogs are turning in the back of his head, the doom he has just learned of. But he's trying to cut a little joke to.
K-Jump has a face like, come on, man. And Tybalt laughs.
Don't sell yourself short. You were all helping out too. Wait, where did the two representatives go?
And everyone kind of looks around for a moment, and then the door to the party lodge opens, and a pink-haired Operablin slowly sticks her head out and says, "Is it gone?" And you can't hear what she's saying at all.
Does Drew also poke his head out?
Yeah, Scooby-Doo styles. Yeah.
Maeve shoots Trev a knowing look like, they are hooking up.
Now's our chance. They engineered all of this. They knew what a giant pool of Grand Slam would attract.
It's our only chance to get down in Vux hard.
Maeve goes over to K-Jump and is like, well, I guess I call that one a tie, maybe. I don't feel like there was a clear winner there, but at least none of us got slurped up by a giant Dreadfly, so.
Yeah, at least that. And honestly, really, thank you. It would not have gone very well for us if I got slurped up, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sorry for goading you back there. I kind of forgot that this is your home plane and you don't really have the luxury of peeling back, if you can even call that a luxury, but, better than the alternative.
I wouldn't call it one. It sucked.
I just, I'm sorry if I was pushing you back there. You guys did great. We all did.
Yeah. Yeah, and for what it's worth, this whole thing has kind of been illuminating. I feel like I know you better than I did before, and I think this crew is really good for you.
Vux, yeah, it is. But hey, don't go getting all soft on me. If this is a tie, that means we're still 1-1, and that means it's anybody's game.
You're right. We'll get you next time.
And Trev is going to try to add his extra line to it, and he's pulled himself out of the juice and everything like that. But it doesn't really come out because he's just flooded with a bunch of energy drink into his mouth. So when your phone has juice all in it, it sounds distant.
We all know.
We all know.
We all know what that's like.
You can't really hear it.
Yeah.
But he's smiling big.
Can robots burp?
It's just like.
I wish we still had the slime backpack. We could have sucked it all out of you, but oh well.
At this point, suddenly, the water begins to bubble. I'm going to get one more roll from you. It's the disaster roll.
Oh.
For every empty trouble box, roll a d6. Do we have any 6s?
Yes. Which surprises me because I rolled with 2 dice. And
All right. Woldton, Trev, you're going to be just fine. Do I have any 4s or 5s?
4.
4 from Helix. Do I have a 1, 2, or 3?
Got a 3.
A 3.
That's the highest one of that tier, so that means something, right? It means that it's good because it's the highest out of the 1 to 3. I rolled a 3, and that's good.
Mm-hmm. So, Woldton, Trev, mark a style. You avoid disaster. Helix, Mark of Trouble, Close Call,
Yeah.
and Maeve, you're gonna mark a Doom, because disaster is going to strike. The water stirs and then erupts as the Dreadfly that had been submerged bursts out. It fires a stream of green slime, narrowly missing Helix, but hitting Maeve. And one more version splits off from you. And you are witnessing this almost as much as you're remembering it, even though this is not something that's happened to you. You're kneeling in the sanctuary of the Arborist Temple. Forester Tarmant is standing over you, ceremonial dagger in hand. And then the Dreadfly fires again, coats this image in slime, and sucks it up. And you realize that a reality in which you get your tether cut has just disappeared.
Oh, damn. What's my doom from that?
Tethered?
So then am I correct in assuming that as long as that doom is on my page, I am not getting my tether cut?
You can't be
ever.
untethered.
All right.
Friends, if we can all go and gather under the Wilkie's Panic Energy Chill Zone tent for a brief team meeting, I have some important information to impart. And we all excuse ourselves under just like one of those like pop tents that are at live events. There's a bunch of coolers of stuff. There's a bunch of like
it's one of those ones that you see at summer festivals that have misters.
The mist, yeah.
But it's a cold mountaintop, but it's still spraying us with energy drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Maeve looks over at the fully equipped party lodge that we still haven't set one foot inside and is like, okay, I guess we're going into the tent.
Never will.
It actually has been closed and barricaded because as soon as the Dreadfly burst out, Drew and Chloe were like, "Vux this," and like shut themselves in.
Yeah.
And BRB is currently knocking on the door, being like, "Guys, come out! There are 2 Slugblaster crews here. Deal with it." So they're preoccupied with that while you're under the energy drink Mr. Tent.
Thank you for gathering here, everyone. I have some information that the ruined Helix imparted onto me. Frankly, it's a lot to process. I don't even know if I fully understand it. So here, I'll just play the video for you, and he can explain it better than perhaps I could.
And Helix pulls out his phone, pulls up the most recent video. It's very, very close on this ruined Helix's face. And he has a very similar look to the one Maeve that was real big on the Arborists. Bags under his eyes, messy hair. Like, who cares about looking good anymore when your dimension is destroyed? And Helix presses play.
You have to understand, the toxic fog isn't just rising steadily because it is actually very much on account of actions being taken by all 3 of the towers. You see, the ground on which all 3 towers is built isn't solid. Operablum isn't solid earth. It is malleable, it is pliable, and with every level added to the towers, more weight is being put on the foundations, which is sinking the towers deeper into the ground. A pool is beginning to form. It's actually quite appropriate that we're in a Arctic environment. If you think about a heat sink in any kind of Arctic domicile, like an igloo, you dig a little hole, the cold air pools in the hole, while the warm air stays up at the top, keeping the residents warm. The same thing is happening with toxic fog from all over the plane. It is pooling at the base, and as each new layer is added, you are not escaping the toxic fog, you are exacerbating it. Our timeline, the timeline I'm from, the weight of all of these new floors, the weight of a inter-tower, interconnected Triskelion base will be the final straw needed to sink the towers low enough that the fog will rise high enough to engulf all 3 towers, Webb, Lansden, and Kindred, and plunge the entire plane of Operablum into chaos and disorder and death. Do not build any more floors. Do not build an interconnected Triskelion base, if it's not too late already.
The video stops, and all of you think back to your time on the Multiversal Odyssey, where you first saw the holographic projection of Triskelion base, and a projection of what it could one day be, extending higher into one tower, where Kindred, Lansden, and Webb simply form the supports underneath. And you realize that Operabum's demise is imminent.